So yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of happy we talked about a little bit of Game of Thrones talk before the show. It always gets me pumped. Gets my blood going, man. And it gets me going too more when there's like unhappy fans. Because they always bitch and complain. It's like, but you know what? They damn well, they'd be so happy if their show was back again. But they bitch and complain when it's gone. They didn't like the ending, but they're like, oh, but I miss it. I wish it was back. They just fucked it up and ended it not the way I wanted it to. Man, that's life. You don't always get you don't always get what you want, you know? I don't know.
As the Rolling Stones once said, you can't always get what you want. Right?
Yeah.
True facts.
True story. What's up, folks? We're back. Nerd Brothers. I don't know what episode it is. I think it's 7.
Back at it.
Back at it. Bringing you the best of the nerdy stuff out there. That's what we do. And we're so thankful that you guys are tuning in to watch it. I also want to take a brief moment to let you guys know, upcoming this week, everything's going to be available on all the podcasting places, Podbean, iTunes, all those places. And we are starting a Patreon. If you guys don't know what Patreon is, it's just a way you guys can show your support a little more. It helps our channel out a little bit, and we'd appreciate that. So the Patreon will be up next week too. So you don't got to do it, but if you like what we do, you like our content, hey, we appreciate it. It'd be super awesome. So let's get into it. Muchos gracias. So as usual, we got some cool topics today. A lot of them I'm super excited about because a lot of them ones get me kind of salty. So, dude, all the news about the what they're calling the new MCU, you know, where they're trying to go now with their whole new look. Some of it's kind of exciting, but my brother was telling me about some of the stuff they're trying to do with like Spider-Man and Punisher, and that gets me pretty excited. So,
well, it's about time that we see Punisher in the MCU. I mean, sure, they've had their little
TV
shows and their movies, if you will. Take them for what they are, but they've never seemed to represent Punisher. So hopefully, when we get Punisher in the new Spider-Man film, it's going to be the Punisher that we all enjoyed coming up as a kid. So I think that's going to be badass.
I agree.
See that.
So for those of you out there that don't do the comic books, in the comic book world, the Punisher is like huge. I mean, he's like just as big as Spider-Man and Wolverine, and it's just never gone over too well in the movie universe. Or
so I think it's how they portray it, how they make the movie. They don't think they've ever did it right. I think if they do it right, then it would sell. I think if they would have done a crappy Iron Man in the early 2000s, it would have failed.
Yep.
You know, I just think that didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. I think it was just kind of like one of those, we'll just shit out a Punisher movie.
Yeah.
You know, it has a fan base, I guess, is what they're probably thinking. We'll shit it out, and if it makes money, it makes money. If it doesn't, oh well. I don't think they ever planned on it being anything. So
Probably
that's just
not.
kind of where I've always looked at the Punisher. Why it is what it is now.
Well, whether you like or dislike Disney, you got to give credit to Marvel on their side because they've done well with the characters they were given. Like we've talked about this probably on the show before, and dude, none of us were Iron Man fans. Well, Ray was. Ray's like, he was buying the comics in the 80s. I still call bullshit. He's not here to defend himself, but these were not like super huge characters. I mean, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, they are in their own right. But they didn't have like the highest selling comics when we were kids anyways.
It was all X-Men.
It was X-Men and probably Spider-Man. Punisher, Wolverine,
those guys. The Superman that even came out. Remember when he died? So those were even.
But those sold well.
Those were even well.
But those sold a lot.
Yeah.
And man, what Marvel did with those characters was amazing, because I would have never ever been like, I'm a Captain America fan. And I love those movies.
And I would have never thought in a million years that they would actually make those movies.
Right.
I was like, you have so many other characters that you can do. You could focus on a individual Wolverine or do a better version of an X-Men. I thought they would. How they redid the Hulk.
Yeah.
Maybe redo the X-Men.
Well, we will eventually.
Well, sure.
That's
what
be awesome.
20 years ago.
Yeah. Then it was. I mean, if you watch those original X-Men, they weren't that great, but they were good for the time, because that's like the first time we got them. But you go like 6, 7, 8 years later, then you get Iron Man and Captain America and Thor. It's like, wow.
Yeah, because
they did it right.
Yeah, because they actually look like the people that were in the comics.
They look exactly the way in the comics, and they followed. Well, I wouldn't say they followed the storyline, because they couldn't, because that was based on Infinity Wars, and they couldn't use it. Which was a run, and they couldn't use X-Men because they didn't own the rights.
Fox owned the rights.
So they just made it all about Avengers, and they brought in the Guardians of the Galaxy, which were not a part of that.
Yeah, Fantastic Four were actually involved, as well as the X-Men in the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity War. So they were actually missing from that, because Fox owned the rights to the Fantastic Four along with the X-Men.
Right.
And then, they later got Spider-Man, which was owned, by Sony. So they eventually got him in there at the end, but that's why we didn't see X-Men and the Fantastic Four due to Fox.
But it's really cool. Eventually down the line, we'll get the Secret Wars, which will be maybe the best stuff we've ever seen. We'll have to wait and see. So
let's see if they actually put everybody together. X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Avengers. So...
And they really have to start building it now.
Yeah.
Like they got to stop making Black Widow movies and Thor movies.
Marvel.
Yeah. Don't get me started. They need to get this rolling now. Like, it should be in production right now. It should be being filmed right now. So that's for probably for another podcast when we got more news on that. But we're both super excited for that as the future for Marvel.
Yeah, because right now that's pretty much the only thing that's going on that I'm stoked about is, the new Spider-Man, whenever the fuck that comes out. But
yeah, it seems cool though if they bring in Punisher.
Yeah,
gets proper treatment.
Mr. Sinister, they say, is gonna be in the movie as well.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the podcast. I could have swore there's one of these movies ended with the Mr. Sinister. Appearance, like an Easter egg, and I can't remember which one it was. So, anybody that watches our show, leave a comment down below. I was thinking it was Deadpool, but it couldn't be.
No, I don't think he's linked to. He's in the X-Men.
So it must have been probably at the end of the last Spider-Man movie or something like that. So let us know if I can't remember. So, anyways, we're super excited about that though, because we're both big Punisher fans, and it'd be cool he gets proper treatment. Oh, and you were saying that
it's the same dude.
They're going to use Shane from the TV show.
Yeah,
was that a Netflix show?
Yeah, the same character that portrays him in the Netflix show is going to transfer over to the MCU, which is cool. So they're not going to change the character.
Yeah, and sorry I called him Shane because I don't know his real name, but it's Shane from Walking Dead. So he's the guy that's been playing Punisher on the TV show. So. Yeah, that's really cool that they have to recast that. Yeah. That makes fans happy.
And that's something they didn't have to do.
No, they didn't have to.
And that's unlike Disney.
Yeah.
Because Disney likes to do what Disney wants to do. Like, talk about the fans.
Because they could have just went out and got some huge buff guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the Punisher. They could have
or just made Punisher black or
whatever. A chick.
Or a chick.
Speaking of being woke, no, we're not going into that yet. It's too early. We were talking before the show. I think most of you, well, I know the people in my real life know, I'm a huge Ryan Reynolds fan. And we don't share the same political beliefs, but I like his movies and his sense of humor. And apparently there's talk about he might be linked to the next Mortal Kombat movie to play Johnny Cage. And me and my brother were talking about that earlier. I'm like, dude, don't. I'm sure they're great movies, but what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he was linked.
He's got so much shit going on.
A few weeks ago, we were talking about that was linked to be Lino with Thundercats. So
that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome.
I think he's better fit to be Lino because it's a starring role. He's the main dude. Opposed if he were to go play Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat, he's just another character that isn't going to soak up a whole lot of screen time because there's a lot of other fighters that are involved in Mortal Kombat. So I don't think it would be a wise business decision for him to do.
I think they would if they want him on there. It's like marketing. Put his face on posters, and I just wouldn't. They'd be fine. Their movies are going to be fine without him. I just wouldn't. If he's got so much stuff to do with the Deadpool movie, possible Thundercats movie, I would just.
And I don't think Mortal Kombat necessarily needs big actors in there because the style of movie that it is. I don't think Ryan Reynolds is necessary for Mortal Kombat.
It's not, because it seems like a younger, up and coming actor cast. Mm-hmm. You don't, when you throw like a big guy in there, it seems forced. So, but I heard that the new Mortal Kombat is really good. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah,
it's supposed to be doing good in the theaters, and I think that's kind of why I would think for just a smidget of a second that he would do it, because of potentially this could spawn out to do multiple sequels. So
he could, but like we were saying before the show, it's like
same thing as Thundercats too.
Yeah, he's got Thundercats, and he's got to spend the next decade doing Marvel movies. So it's like you got to weigh what you want to do. I mean, it's what helped put him back on the map was Deadpool. So it's like that's your cash cow. You don't want to mess with that. So
that should be your bread and butter right there. Focus on
it.
That.
Is right now.
Anything else that you can do, you'll go and do. He's doing that one role when he's playing like the non-playable character.
Dude, I can't wait till it comes out though. Is that this summer, or did that get pushed out again?
It got pushed out.
Jesus.
Well, it would have to be released this summer, you would think, but I haven't read much on it.
What was the name of that movie? I forgot the name of it.
I only know that he's just a non-playable.
Yeah. Just Google it. It's super. It's awesome trailer. It's funny. It's Ryan Reynolds, who basically just plays himself in every movie he does. But yeah, it's cool. But you got to understand, if all of you, watched the last few Marvel movies, Avengers, they're all dead. Not all of them. I mean, they all came back to life, I guess, with the time jump, right? They got the stones back. But Marvel's ended that phase of that story. So now the next group has to come up, and that's going to be the X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, Spidey, and Punisher, and all these super villains you guys haven't heard yet. So.
Yeah, that's why you're going to bring in Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, Mr.
The guys
Sinister.
that basically put comic books on the map, made them mainstream. Sure, you're always going to have your Stan Lees, you're going to have your 70s, and you're going to have your 60s comic books. But I would say the late 80s and the early 90s is what put comic books on the map. And I mean, they did. They took it over the edge, especially with the X-Men cartoon. That's when comic books became pop culture. Toys galore. They exploded. Sure, you had the toys back in the 80s, but I would say in the 90s, that's when it went kind of ape shit in the 90s.
And strangely enough, all the movies you've seen recently from Marvel were based on that era. So, and you're going to see more. A lot more. Actually, Secret Wars is actually older.
Yeah, that was in early 80s, 83. So it's good they're going back to that, but and getting characters, the baddies like the Dooms and, the Sinisters, Mr. Sinister, so it's good to see them bringing back or introducing them characters in.
Well, yeah, because that's like what I've always said, that the benefit of what I like Marvel more than DC. Marvel has better bad guys, and they haven't used that well enough yet. Yeah, we got Thanos. That's pretty badass, but he's like down here until you get to some of these bigger guys, and it's gonna be so cool once they start doing those. Can't wait.
Yeah, let's bring in some Galactus.
Yeah,
let's get some Galactus in here.
We're talking about guys. It's like, dude, we need more than Avengers. We need Avengers,
There's
X-Men,
so much out there.
Fantastic Four. We need all y'all.
There's so
we
much
all got to be here.
We already did the Avengers run. Move on.
Yeah, we can't keep doing it.
Let's move on from that.
And they were great. Don't get me wrong. I loved them. They're great.
But we've done it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
That's the end of that story.
Yeah.
And
introduce other. There's other characters that we need to introduce.
Yeah, and other stories.
Yeah.
So we got to move on, and I guess you can just trust us. They'll be good. Like, maybe even better. I know that probably pisses off some of you fans, but Marvel's got everything now. They got X-Men. I mean, it's gonna go up a whole nother level. So, if you thought the Avengers was badass,
it's gonna get better.
Just wait. Yeah. So I guess that would segment. That would be those times where you do like the yeah. It's one of those things like we talked about before we started this podcast, if we wanted to get into some of this stuff, and basically it's like, yeah, we just got to. We can't. Well, no, we can't stay silent.
Well, because we were just talking about like Disney and what Disney's doing and decisions that Disney's making.
But it's getting so much worse.
That Hollywood's making it makes you not want to watch what they're putting on the screen. It's making it hard to watch what they put on the screen, right, because they're doing their fucking best to put a wedge in between their fan base, and it's working.
It is.
Half of their fan base has tuned the fuck out. They literally have tuned out, and they probably won't ever go back. So that's what I don't understand with the whole Hollywood aspect of it. If you're going to turn out half your fan base, how are you going to keep your lights on as an industry? That's what I don't understand. How are you going to keep your lights on? How are you going to pay all these lunatics that speak their rhetoric about their cause, that the only reason why they have a voice is because of the position that they're in, because they're famous. They're famous because people go and watch their movies. If people don't go watch their movies, that doesn't make them famous anymore. So therefore, they don't have a platform. Yeah. So these people are walking on eggshells. It's very thin ice right now, so I don't understand why they're doing it. Because people are tuning out. They're resorting to other sources of media. Podcasts, YouTubes. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch none of these whack jobs. I tuned out ESPN years ago. I find other sources of entertainment because I think what they're talking about is just complete nonsense. So
I think the biggest thing is I think they lie to themselves. I think
100%.
They think people who may be conservative thinking. They think there's just a couple thousand of these weird hillbillies in the mountains who just hate people. And they think there's just a few of them. But the reality is, half this country are conservative-minded people. And I don't mean that like right-leaning, crazy whack jobs. Man, Google conservatives. Google what Republicans are. Google what Republicans have done for this country. But I just think a lot of these hardcore left blue-haired weirdos, they just don't, they think they're the majority. And there's just, so when they're selling their movies and they're selling their wokeness, they're like, oh, well, we're fine because
everybody agrees with that.
Yeah, we're the majority. There's only a few of those people.
Because I think Tim Pool,
man, it's half the country.
Tim Pool was on the Joe Rogan show, and Jack Dorsey was on there as well. And Tim Pool asked him, he was like, so he was talking about how the whole cancel culture thing was, and Jack Dorsey was 100% convinced that there's only a small portion of people that actually like Trump.
Right.
He's literally convinced that 99.9% of America hates Trump.
Well, how did
and there's nothing that's going to change it.
How did he become a president then?
So,
you know?
And Tim Pool's like saying there's nothing that's going to change that guy's mind because it's burned in his head.
Yeah, he can't forget it. To him, it's the truth.
Yeah.
So that's how they walk around the world. They walk down the street. They brush their teeth. We're right and they're wrong. And there's not a lot of them. But that's what they don't understand. Half the country has their own beliefs, their own morals of what they believe. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about the beliefs you have as a conservative and the beliefs you have as a liberal. And to be honest with you, a lot of it's pretty close. It's just the far lefties and the far righties are the ones that are really out there.
Yeah.
Most of us are pretty close. And as Hollywood gets woke, more people are coming more to the middle. Trust me. More people are like, we're even getting liberals coming out and say, okay, this wokeness is getting out of hand. We can't cancel this person. We can't cancel this person.
I mean, like Bill Maher, he's so far left, he's almost right. And he's even poking fun. That's one of his main things now on his show. Is like, you got to be kidding me. These guys are getting just pulled and canceled left and right. And he's like, it's just getting a little out of hand here. It's getting a little out of hand here. I think he had a woman of Congress was actually on a show. And they were talking about the Gina Carano thing. And, Bill Maher's like, yeah, she got canceled. And she was like, yeah, she's a racist. And Bill Maher's like, she's a racist? What are you talking about? Well, she hangs with racists. She hangs with white supremacists. And this is a grown-ass woman. It's like 50. And Bill Maher goes, so she hangs with white supremacists. And he was just shaking his head.
It's like, what proof do you got of that?
It's like, you're a 50-something, maybe a 6-year-old woman, and you're dropping that she hangs with white supremacists. And he was just like, oh my God, this is where we're at. Well, we got a woman of Congress saying that Gina Carano hangs with white supremacists. This doesn't sound like someone
what's a white supremacist to a liberal Congress person? A Republican? So if you're a Republican, well, you're a white supremacist. Period. No evidence, no proof. Well, she hangs out with Republicans.
No. She hangs.
Hangs.
No, it's not like, this is what I've always found strange with that. A 6-year-old woman is dropping that she hangs. And that's when Bill Maher was just like shaking his head like, good God, this is where we're at. And this dude is so far left, he's almost right. And then we got people of his status just mocking Hollywood. I mean, for crying out loud.
I get what you're saying.
Like look at the Oscars. They're going up there and they're just trying to beat their wokeness, down your throat. And look at the ratings. Nobody gives a fuck about it.
Well, that's like a 6-year-old woman listening to a song and said, yeah, that kind of slaps.
Pretty much.
That slaps.
Yeah. It loses all credibility.
Oh, it's your new car? Nice whip. Nice whip. That slaps.
Says your grandma.
Says your grandma.
Yeah.
And act your age. Act your age. And you know what? Before you accuse somebody of something as serious as that, do your own research. Don't let CNN tell you what. Man, I would be so insulted. I would be ashamed of myself if I accused somebody of something like that without evidence.
Yeah.
I couldn't call someone something like that without any proof.
It's It's character sabotage. Where do they get the right to character sabotage somebody?
Well, that's the whole thing with cancel culture. All they have to do is say it. Well, it's my opinion. Your opinion doesn't make it fact. That's just your opinion. Right? Since when did opinion become a fact?
Yeah.
That's your. If you want to believe that, that's fine. I don't think you should go around spewing bullshit like that, but your opinion, just because you believe it, it doesn't make it true.
It's an opinion. That's all it is.
It doesn't make it true. Yeah, I don't like that. And it's just going to get it worse. We saw what happened with the Oscar ratings. Well, they dropped 50% from the year before. And I think the year before that, they dropped 30%. Wake up, folks.
Well, Hollywood is in, they're in big trouble. like big trouble. And, you know, with the coup out there and SoPro shutting everything down, wear your mask, you know, we're doing this to save you, we're doing this to help you. They don't give a fuck about you. What I don't get is they're basically shooting themselves in the foot is what they're doing. Like, literally. And it's not toe by toe. It's just shotgun and boom, there goes the whole foot.
Yeah. But it goes just like what I said earlier. They really think they're catering to the masses. That's why. They really think, oh, well, we just got to put more women. We got to put more people of color.
Okay.
And they don't realize that half the country doesn't care about color or race. Just give us a good movie. That's all we want. We don't care. It's like, does that make them more racist? Mm-hmm. Imagine going to an executive's office. It's like some white dude. We need more people of color in here. We need more women. What the hell do you know about it?
Well, it's just
that'd be insulting to me.
It's just like in football, for instance. Like, well, we need more black quarterbacks. It's racist when you don't got black quarterbacks. It's like me being a white guy saying I don't watch the NFL because there's too many black guys on the field. It's completely asinine, you know. So 90% of all, you know, American athletes are African American.
Correct.
So they're pushing for more, you know, like more black guys. So we need more black quarterbacks. Well, 90% of your league is black. So it's like having the white guy saying, well, I'm not going to watch the NFL because it's too black. Or I'm not going to watch the NFL because there's not enough black quarterbacks. It's kind of a double standard there. It's like,
well,
we need more of this, we need more of that. And I just think it's just the way they try to shove that down the throat, like with ESPN, they're like, I think Max Kellerman went on television like saying,
and some of the
I'm afraid of the quarterbacks is going to be white guy, white guy, white guy. I don't know if you heard that.
It just, you know, it's never been a thing to me. Some of the best quarterbacks right now are black guys. And I just don't get this.
Well,
the only thing that gets me is, to me, I could be wrong. Leave me, you know, a message down in the comments. I think liberal folks create racism.
Well, that's the truth.
Because that's what's more divisive is people who bring it up all the time. There's a difference between bringing it up and trying to be productive and creating solutions. I know there's issues still. I understand that. But, man, most of this country doesn't give a fuck anymore. Right? Like, for a long time. Yeah. The only people who bring it up all the time are liberals. Who talk about color and race all the time. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't end.
Politics.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, I didn't grow up like that. And it's thrown in my face mostly by liberals who think there's injustice and inequality. And I'm sure there are in some instances. I don't doubt that. But, God, it's got to be better than it was 20, 30 years ago, better than it was 60 years ago.
Oh, but they all
it's getting better,
China,
though.
They all stick up for China.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, you liberals, you might want to go check out China. Hong Kong. They smack people in the streets that don't believe with what you want.
People in the sweatshops, people in concentration camps. And these are the people that own
Google
all your goddamn movie theaters.
Google how kind they are to African Americans in China.
Ask Finn.
Go Google that, LeBron James. Yeah, they're not treated very well over there.
You look at the Star Wars the poster in China. Finn's head got shrunk down the size of a quarter.
Communist, if that's what you guys are into, but by all means, do you. We'll do us. All right. Hollywood, you guys got to get your heads out of their ass. I'm telling you, if they didn't have like that Top Gun movie coming out, I don't think they got anything going for them. I mean, most of the movies are going straight to Disney Plus or going straight to rent it from your TV.
Well, those movies have been dropping, because when the Snyder Cut came out on,
which we still haven't watched. We told the podcast we'd watch it. We still haven't.
They went on the HBO Max.
We're not DC fans.
They were hoping that the DC, the HBO subscription was gonna, go up, and it hasn't moved.
No, I doubt it.
So it's just not gonna go anywhere. People just aren't really interested in Hollywood movies no more, and I think it's due to their political stand that they're doing. I mean, just for crying out loud, look at the NBA. I mean, NBA right now is in a...
I don't mean... What's the NBA?
Next year it won't be anything.
Oh, okay.
So,
I don't know. Is that like... It's like cricket or something like that?
Formerly known as the NBA.
Oh, yeah, I heard of that. Yeah. It used to be pretty good.
But it used to be good. But once you get into the political aspects of it and you divide your fans, what they're doing in the comic book industry, what they're doing in the video game industry, and what they're doing in Hollywood right now in the film industry, they've done it in sports. They put a wedge and they're dividing it. They're saying, if you're on this side, we don't want you. If you're over here, we'll welcome you. That's it.
Go woke, get broke. True story. That's what's going to happen. NBA's gone. Oscar ratings are down. Even Hollywood. I mean, these actors, they want their ass kissed. They want their asses kissed so bad. They're like, no one's watching. Yeah.
That's why.
Well, fuck, man.
Why
don't you make movies?
When you call half your fan base racist.
Racist, yeah. Dude. That's the worst thing ever. To be called a racist for what? You got a Trump shirt on. You're a racist. Okay. All right.
Or because you don't like Rey in Star Wars.
Dude, that's even worse.
You're a racist.
So if you didn't like the new sequel trilogy, you're a racist.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't like the movies. Well, because you're obviously racist.
Well, because this is what the left do. They like to label. You're a homophobe. You're a
xenophobe.
You're a xenophobe.
Man, I had to Google that. I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
There's so many phobes out there. It's like, I don't even know what any of this means.
Xenophobe. I'm like, Jesus, that sounds bad. What is
Star
that?
Wars sucked.
Sounds like
the Rise of Skywalker sucked. It had nothing
infection or something.
Had nothing to do with Rey. Literally had nothing to do with Rey.
Well, it's kind of like just like the girl power thing, which I ain't got nothing against, but when it's forced, then it feels forced. It looks forced, You know. I love strong women, and I love strong women in movies and shows. I've been saying that since I was a kid, back in the 90s. I had a crush on Dana Scully from X-Files. They're like, my friends are like, dude, she's not that good looking. I'm like, dude, she's hot. She's smart. She's got balls. Well, you know what I mean. But so when people say that, like guys say, oh, they just don't want women in movies. That's not true at all. That's so not true. So not true. Like I said many times before, even when Ray was here in a few episodes ago, I liked that, the first Wonder Woman
Yeah, that was
movie.
good.
I liked it, man. It was badass. I didn't sit there and think, oh, this is girl power thrown in my face. It was there, but not enough to like make me turn it off or anything. You know?
Yeah, I don't think you're not going to tune into a film, a TV show, or flip through a comic just because it has a female lead. I just don't think. Or if it's a person of color. I just don't think that's who it is.
Captain Marvel, though, that turned me off. I'm not going to get into Brie Larson. I'm not in the mood.
Well, because it's not like a character.
Don't do it. I don't want to talk about it.
It wasn't even it's not a necessary character. That's what I don't understand about the whole Captain Marvel thing. Characters that you could choose from, and you chose Captain Marvel.
Out of all the characters, wasn't Captain Marvel originally a dude?
Yeah.
So imagine that, like, for you women out there, if they just made a Wonder Woman and made a Wonder Man, would that piss you off? That's not right. Wonder Woman's always a woman. Yeah, exactly. That's how you'd feel. That's how we'd feel.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's a woman. And if they made Wonder Man, I'd be pissed. I'd be on your side, fighting with you. This is bullshit. And when you get on the flip, man, you got to get on our side too, because it's bullshit. Let's just keep it the way it's written, the way it is. There's nothing wrong about it. It's not racist. It's not xenophobic or whatever you want to call it. Can we just stay with the storyline the way the character's written, okay? If the dude was a dude and the chick was a chick, let's keep it that way. If the dude was white and that dude was black, let's keep it that way. I don't want white Blade. Blade's a black dude.
Yep.
Right? I'm cool. Who cares about all this stuff anyways? It's your weirdo, what Doomcock called them, the Twitter twats. They said Twitter twats, man. Stop listening to these people. They're just causing problems. They care about nothing, man. They're nihilists, right? From like the Big Lebowski. You are nihilist.
And they don't even come. The thing is with the Twitter twats, they literally don't even watch the program.
They don't even.
I don't think they do.
They're there to talk shit.
They just read the feeds. They just read the feeds.
Luke Skywalker should be a girl. What's your favorite Star Wars movie? I don't even watch Star Wars. So what the fuck are you here for? Get your blue hair ass out of here.
They don't contribute. At the end of the day, they don't contribute.
They're there to be trolls.
They don't buy the tickets. They don't have subscription.
Blue-haired Twitter twats. I'm sure you guys will not subscribe to our channel, but thank you for watching. Making friends everywhere we go. That's what we do. We're just speaking our truth. That's just us. So, you guys are entitled to your own opinions. These are ours. So,
well, we're just watching Hollywood burn down. And it's sad because I think once upon a time,
dude, it's so sad.
We all enjoyed Hollywood and enjoyed the films and thought it was actually pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, because we're both huge movie buffs. We actually like break down movies. We talk about them after we watch them. We read books. We've read books on screenplay writing. I mean, it's a little more serious to us than probably the average viewer. It's kind of a big deal to us, and it sucks when it's come to this point. Like one of our favorite actors, Johnny Depp, has been canceled. Like he's like the guy can't even get a job. It's Johnny Depp, dude.
Johnny fucking Depp
can't get work because some woke ass crazy nut job.
Shit in his bed.
She took a dump on his bed. Google it. Even you blue-haired people, you know it's true. You know it's true. Oh, but he abused her. You know what? You go Google it. The whole story's online.
It's fabricated.
It's all there. If you want the truth, go find it. Truth's out there. If you want to go, but they don't want the truth, do they?
Yeah. Go watch
They don't.
Margot Robbie and the new Pirates of the Caribbean, which nobody's gonna go watch, and then they're gonna be wishing they wouldn't have fired Johnny Depp. This here is woke ass Disney for you. You know, what did Doomcock say in the last video that Disney's $30 million in the hole right now with the Star Wars franchise? Yeah. What's it going to be like when the new Pirates of the Caribbean comes out without Johnny Depp? It's going to be down the toilet, so.
And if you want to make some money, make a Pirates movie with Johnny Depp.
And your parks aren't open. Nobody's going in there. So Disney should be very concerned about being on the brink of bankruptcy.
Do what I say a year ago. If they want to make some money and get some good PR, make a Deadpool Wolverine movie. You might just make it.
Yeah, rated R.
Just they'll all watch. Everyone will go. Pay Hugh Jackman a ton of money to come back and just make a quick action movie with some quick wit. I mean, you could probably make that movie in six months.
Yeah, definitely would have cost time wise.
You don't got to follow any comic book line. Just make the movie, just like that. Get a quick
Just
storyline,
be one and done.
a good writer, one and done. Like a total. Who's that dude that does the Transformers movies?
Michael Bay.
Yeah, just do it. Total Michael Bay. Dude, you'd make so much money.
And I read something on the Transformers. They're actually going to weasel in the Beast Wars in live action.
Well, I'll stop watching then. The last one I watched was actually kind of cool, where they kind of try to bring in like the Templar Knights.
Yeah.
That was okay. But at this point, even then, it kind of still felt like B movie. It wasn't A, it was B. Like this wasn't great.
Well, what I didn't like about those, they look like bugs. The Transformers look like bugs.
Well, the Decepticons certainly do.
Yeah, I think if they go back to what
The
we
Beast
knew as
Wars
kids-
would be just awful.
Yeah, they need to go back and look like blocky characters that you see in the cartoons.
Yeah, look like the way they looked on the cartoons. And we've been saying this for
Stoke, when I first heard they were coming out,
30
with,
years.
and I watched them like, good God, they look like bugs.
Can't they just do a remake? Remake the Transformers the movie
Watch the movie
And do that live action.
duplicate it.
and just follow it.
Prime should look just like he does in the cartoons. How
Same-
hard is that?
Same soundtrack,
Is that hard?
dude. We're talking about that's $1 billion movie. $1 billion movie.
Make them look like they do in the fucking cartoons.
You
All
guys,
the script on the Transformers movie.
you guys should be listening to us because we're telling you we're like the heartbeat of this stuff. If you made that Transformers the movie live action, same soundtrack, just followed the whole damn script, 700 million minimum, guarantee you. So, shoot us an
Scene by
email.
scene.
Shoot me an email. I'll help you out in the script if you want to.
No, the script's already there.
I know I'm just trying to get some
Yeah.
extra money out of it. I still have my original soundtrack probably somewhere. I bought that tape in like 1987.
86, actually.
Well, yeah, I guess. Well, I'm talking about when I bought the tape. Though. I bought it as soon as I got it at Sights and Sounds, Quincy, California. I had to order it.
Oh, you're a Californian.
Oh, I am.
Oh, you're going to get all kinds of hate.
Bring it.
But yeah, I think that's what Transformers needs to do. And I think that's what a lot of these movies are doing. You know, you can look at like the X-Men when they just didn't make it look like what you've seen in the cartoon or you've seen in the comic books. And the same thing with Transformers.
Wasn't that
the colors
cartoon?
are there.
That
but it's
cartoon
like-
was so good, though.
Yeah.
The original one?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That
It's there. The material is there. I don't understand why it's so hard to go with content that's already created. It's not an original storyline that's already created. Just go with it.
I think it had something to do with the late 90s with Batman and then The Matrix. So I think it's trying to be like being dark and
X-Men wise,
look cool as opposed to wearing your like cool colors.
And the same thing. Well, same thing with like Transformers. I think they tried to go the cool route, and not have them look like blocky.
They did, dude. They made Bumblebee a Camaro, right? Fuck you for that, right off the bat.
How is that even possible? Bumblebee. That's why he's called Bumblebee. 'Cause he's a fucking bug,
and
a VW bug,
which everyone used to call bumblebees. Those Optimus Prime was a flat-nosed diesel.
Peterbilt.
And then they do the movies. He's got the big old front nose one. I'm like, why are you guys fucking with the easiest shit that you could get right? This is like, it's easy. Just follow what's been done, and you won't piss off millions of people like us. And they did anyways. It's like, who's your quality control guy? Because he needs to be fired. Because that's just not, you can't do that. You can't. That'd be the first thing I would have been on the first day. That's not Prime.
That guy
that's
got,
not
like,
Bumblebee.
when you're sitting around the round table, that guy's excused from the room. Like, bro, you gotta go.
Right, exactly.
You gotta go.
That guy's gone.
Yeah.
Here's your contract. Get out of here.
Next.
Well, I thought it really looked cool.
Nope. You gotta go.
But Bumblebee is a Camaro. Nope. Get this
Nobody
guy out.
cares about a bug. He's a fucking bumblebee.
Peter, get him out of the building. Grab his desk, his computer. Take it all out. All of it. Put him in the desk and take him out.
Now.
But. It looks cool. And Michael Bay's like, wait, bring him back in. I like it.
No, that's when they all were around the round table and they lit up like fucking Christmas trees like it was a genius idea. That's the difference between smart people and then the unsmart.
Right, exactly.
That's the difference. And these people are supposed to be fucking smart.
They're supposed
That's
to
the thing. They're in high rises in Hollywood around a round table discussing a multi-million-dollar fucking movie, and they can't get it right. And that's their job, is to get it right.
And that's what's funny you bring that up, because there was somebody in that room that was like,
genius.
That's a great idea, Peter. Let's change Optimus. Let's do that. Yeah.
Oh, Bumblebee.
Let's make Bumblebee a Camaro. This is amazing.
Wow. Jesus, why didn't
give this guy a raise? So there was some jackwagon in there that had that power. It's like, I like it. I think it's cool. Let's do it. Let's fucking piss everybody off. Not knowing, he probably wasn't a Transformers fan.
He knew nothing about Transformers when he got brought into the movie. Like Transformers, like a Transformer on a power line.
No, this guy was probably, he liked GoBots. Yeah, he's a GoBots guy. 100%. Or just Star Trek. Star Trek and GoBots.
How to sabotage it.
Yeah, I was like, let's fuck it all.
How to sabotage it.
Let's fuck it all. Let's burn it all
He's like,
down.
wanted Optimus Prime for Christmas. My fucking mom got me. Still haunts him to this day 30 years later.
You know what's strange? That might be the truth. The guy's like, I never got
The
off.
only Transformer I got to play with was fucking Bumblebee.
A fucking bug?
I took him to school and I was a laughing stock
Stock of the
the
whole
4th
town.
grade.
My friend showed up.
Starscream, Megatron, Prime, Chaz. I had fucking Bumblebee.
Dude, how much do you want to bet that's probably what happened? He's all sabotage this. I'll get the movie industry just to ruin this.
He's like, hey, if Bumblebee would have been a Camaro, I would have been a cool kid. I would have been a cool kid. I would have been the laughing stock at the playground, in 1987, if fucking Bumblebee would have been a Camaro.
But if Bumblebee would have
But it
come
wasn't.
around, his parents would have never got it. It would have been sold out.
Exactly. That's why your mom got you Bumblebee. It's
Yeah.
the last. Your mom should have went there Not Christmas Eve to get you your fucking Transformers. She should have went there right after Thanksgiving.
Or let's just be honest here. Let's just be totally honest. Your parents couldn't afford Camaro Bumblebee. Sorry. Your parents couldn't afford Optimus Prime. Sorry.
Megatron.
Sorry. Life's tough. Get tough.
But she could afford GoBots because they were for like discount prices, half off.
God, I hope.
in the bin next to the checkout aisle.
If we have any
because
viewers,
there's free picking for $1.
if we have any viewers that are GoBots fans, we just lost them all. Yeah, we hate DC, and I had GoBots too. Though. I had Leader 1. He was an F-15. It was kind of cool. But for the rest of the part, they all suck. That motorcycle, that was like their main bad guy. It was so dumb.
And they were just cheap ass. They seemed cheap to you.
They were cheap. They were
Yeah.
plasticky. Yeah.
Yeah, Leader 1. Yeah.
Did you ever see that GoBot movie?
I didn't know that.
No, because they never made
I was
one.
gonna say I didn't know there was a GoBot movie.
Sorry, I had to trigger my inner Ray. I had to bring in my inner Ray to do that. Because there wasn't one. Sorry,
There never will be one.
there never will be one. God.
And there will be no nostalgia for GoBots. I'm sorry. They pretty much already tried to kill the nostalgia for Transformers with the shit they put out in the theaters with what they have. You know, they're going to try to put out Beast Wars. Like, good God.
I just think
That
it's a
was
bad
just-
idea.
That's when you basically put the nail in a coffin with Transformer fans with Beast Wars.
'Cause
That's
I
when
was-
like, it is done. Like,
Because
done.
that came out probably when I was an adult. It was probably my early 20s.
Yeah, I was.
So I had my studio apartment in downtown Sacramento when that came on. And you're at that point where you're kind of far past watching cartoons. But when I saw it on TV, I'm like, oh shit, Transformers, will give it a shot. And I'm like, this is fucking awful.
I would watch it before I went to work.
Awful. Like, wasn't Optimus Prime like a gorilla?
It was an ape.
An ape.
Yeah, I would watch it before I'd go to work.
God, it's bad.
You know, it was routinely. You know, you'd get ready to go to work, and like before you go to school, you'd watch the cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when I watch Voltron, it was all before I went to school. Majority of my childhood watching cartoons was before I go to school, so that was still kind of embedded in me as I
Right.
got as an adult. You know,
Well, I think
before
I did
went to
too
work,
with
I'd
Beast
watch
Wars.
it.
It was probably early in the morning before I went to work.
Yeah, and I'd watch it. That's when I watched it.
God,
I watched it. I probably watched it for
But, dude,
a
it
solid
was-
year. It's like, good God, this is unbearable.
Yeah, it's not. You know, it's weird though. It's like the graphics were really good,
Sure.
but it's like,
Because it looked more like a video game graphics.
yeah, it was.
It wasn't cartoony.
It wasn't cartoony at all. It was very like high end, like you said, like video game graphics. But you change everything that we grew up that we liked, and it's gone. And it's just maybe it's just because it was our youth. I don't know. If anybody watched that show and you disagree with us, leave it in the comment section. But did anybody like Beast Wars? I mean, really? Did those toys sell well? I don't know. If we're wrong, hey, let us know. I guess our generation
Levi.
certainly didn't like it. Maybe Levi, yeah, Ray's brother-in-law.
Which I think he's probably.
You know, it's weird. I'm glad you brought that up because sometimes if people are super fans, they're into everything they do, and I'm a little more critical. Like, I'll like it if I like it. If I don't, dude, I'm out, man. That's it. It's not just because you messed up my childhood stuff. Even when we get older, we're like the movies we watch, horror movies. Like something will come up. Oh, let's do a remake of this movie, and you watch it. It's like I don't like it. I like the one before that, but I don't like this one. So you can still be critical of something and still like it. You don't have to be so like.
I lost my bearings.
Like the Twitter twats.
That's what
You don't got to put your foot in the sand so hard. And I hate everything. You know, it's like I like some of those Transformer movies. I don't like all of them.
Marky Mark ones was good.
They're not bad.
I like the Marky Mark one.
They're not bad, but I like Sam Witwicky too. I like Sam Witwicky. Wasn't that his name?
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Ladies Man 05433329 or something like that. I thought those were good. They fucked up Prime and Bumblebee, but
The storyline wasn't bad. It's just the way they portrayed the actual Autobots or the Decepticons. That's what I didn't like about that. The storyline was there. I liked it. You know, sure, I would like to have had Spike and Daniel in there, but
Yeah.
they didn't have any of those guys because they were key elements in the cartoon. They're really based on the cartoon, so they didn't base anything on the cartoon outside of the names of the Autobots and the Decepticons. They didn't go anything in as far as the portrayal of how the actual characters look.
well, it's like we said earlier. If they would have just followed the damn movie from 1986 or 87, gold.
And I mean, I'm talking not just script-wise. You know, because they're called storyboards in movies. You know, they draw everything out
Right.
per screen. I mean, that's what Alfred Hitchcock was keen on that. You look at his,
George Lucas did it too.
yeah, you look at the storyboards, and it's just almost spot on per scene. It's like, holy crap, this literally looks like
Right.
what dude drew. So if they would have did the storyboard from what they did on the Transformers the movie in 1986 or 85, and did that into the Michael Bay version, fuck, that would have been money. You know, blocky Autobots, blocky Decepticons, fuck, that would have been just... I could only imagine what that would have been like. Like, holy shit.
And they could have turned that into like a trilogy. They could have turned that... Because I could see why maybe they wouldn't want to do it, because they went from the old Autobots or the old story to the new story. But they could have dragged that out for a little while.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Prime died, then Megatron died, they went straight to the new characters.
Yeah.
It was Cup and Hot Rod,
Rod.
and Galvatron, and all their new
Minions.
minions, and which is the replacement of Starscream, because those ships look different, right? They Scourge,
Yes,
they just look different. So if I was them, maybe I'd drawn that story out a little longer. The Battle of Autobot City, maybe that's first movie.
Yep.
Prime dies in second movie. The third movie is, because like I said earlier, we've read books on how to do screenplays. So third act is supposed to be where you blow your load,
Yeah,
right?
beginning, middle, and end, yeah.
Right. So that's where the fight with Unicron would have been.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that would have been badass.
you could turn that into a trilogy if you'd done it correctly.
Just what they did in the MCU. You build it up.
Right? Oh, wrong button. Sorry. I'm new here. That's it. It's all build up. And you got to do it right. That's what good writers do, good directors do.
And it's just not like one and done. I know they tried to do one, then one piggybacked on that, but it didn't seem like there was the beginning, middle, and an end. It didn't seem like that's what they were doing.
No, I didn't really get that. I mean, I guess with the first two with Michael Bay and what's his name? Shia?
Shia LaBeouf.
Those seem kind of close, but the other ones, I guess Wahlberg's ones, they're similar.
But they went another
But
direction.
they're not connected.
They were connected,
No,
and it
not
seemed
at all.
like when they did the first one, it's like if this one is a success, then sure we're going to make a new one. With the MCU, it wasn't a matter if it was a failure. They still had the beginning, middle, and end. That was always in fruition. That's what they always want to do. Same thing with Star Wars on the last trilogy. There was going to be a beginning, middle, and an end. Regardless if the story is already written, they already had it
Right.
planned out. They already knew what they were going to do.
And Lucas has always said that. And whether people believe that is truth or not, that's up to you. But I think for the most part, if you really want to go back to the first couple Transformers, people tuned in for Megan Fox.
Yeah.
I was one of them. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
I got to excuse myself for a second.
Excuse yourself. Should I start the Game of Thrones talk?
You can do it.
Okay, so apparently the new trailer of Game of Thrones House of the Dragon has been released. Well, not new, there's lots of them. But there's lots of leaks coming out. And a lot of Game of Thrones fans are not very happy with the show so far. There's talk that this may only be like a one-season show. And for us Game of Thrones fans, that's like, what? But it makes sense because the House of the Dragon is just based on one little period of time. And I could see why there can't be, this is not like 8 seasons of content there, because it's based on one book that George R.R. Martin wrote called, I think it's Fire and Blood. Just one book. So, I mean, the best you could probably hope for is maybe a couple seasons. Because all the Game of Thrones, the original series, is all based, each book is one season. So, the new show called House of the Dragon is based on a book called Fire and Blood. It's one book. So, if people are getting upset, it's like, what? You can't just do one season. Well, it's one book. I mean, how much content can you write out of one book? I mean, you could drag it on, but that's not fair to the fans. So I was just telling them about that. So that's a new show that's supposed to be out next year. It's Game of Thrones House of the Dragon. And a lot of people are pretty pissed when they heard about it might only be like one
and done.
One and done.
Well, it's kind of like when they brought back X-Files for that one.
Exactly. Because we wanted more. And they only did like 6 episodes.
And I think that's what...
I liked them, though.
But I think that's what kind of hurt that, because it was already well known that they're only going to release, the 6 episodes? And that was that. It wasn't kind of like...
Well, they were a little upfront.
Exactly. That's why I really wasn't invested into it as much as I would like to have been, because if they would have said X-Files is back, then I think it would have lured more people in.
Yeah, I think and I know that wasn't well received by a lot of people, the X-Files reunion, but they were pretty honest about it, and they said this is pretty much
6 episodes. I think
6 episodes, try to tie up the end of the series, and
bad. That's Fox being Fox, though.
That's Fox being Fox.
So it seems like with the Game of Thrones, with the HBO, just the one season, I don't know, and that's not going to really
but it's
go
one
well with
book.
the fans.
It's one book. I mean, how much can you...
Well, because it's going to take a while to make that one season, though.
Well, it's just...
And by the time that's over, another book could be written.
Well, no, they're working on multiple shows, but you would have thought they'd be working on... Their first thing they should have been working on is The Long Game. That should already be in production. That should almost be out. And the first thing they chose was maybe a one-off 10-episode. That's just going to... They have so many pissed off fans right now from the way Game of Thrones ended. And you're going to go give them a 10-episode one-off? That's just going to piss people off a lot more.
And if that goes south, if it doesn't end well,
then they're not going to tune in. Your HBO Max subscriptions are just going to go down like Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I just think it was a bad decision because there's so much storylines they could have went off on in the Game of Thrones universe, and they chose the one with the shortest timeline. It's like, are you guys literally shooting yourself in the foot? And it kind of goes back to the wokeness shit we were talking earlier. So they want to follow like the chick story, House of the Dragon, Dance of the Dragons, they call it. Girls fighting on dragons. It's like, yeah, that was a cool story, but and I don't know if you make a show about it. It's a cool
with all the shit,
story.
With all the shit that they could actually do, that's what they're going
so much more. There's so much more in that universe. I mean, it's not as in depth as Star Wars by no means, but there's so much more that they could have went to, and they chose. I'm not going to say stupid because it's not out yet. But I just feel like they could have went a different route and kind of get the fan base a little more happy again. Mm-hmm. You know, even with the people that were pissed off the way, you know, the main series ended.
Not end on a sour note for the second time.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Like, bring people back. Because a lot of people were super upset of the way the main series ended. And the best way to bring them back would just put out another good show. Not just do some 10-episode one-off. That's just gonna. I can feel the backlash already. I can hear like the people, the blue-haired Twitter twats. Oh my God! We waited 4 years for this. What a bunch of bullshit! You guys suck. Fuck Game of Thrones. All right, okay, all right. Well, you might be a little upset, huh? I couldn't tell. So, since you don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, the Twitter twats might love it though.
You know what? They might. If it was written for them, you never know. It might be written for them.
The thing is, they don't watch. They'll read.
They probably don't watch either, yeah.
They'll read.
They probably don't like Game of Thrones.
They'll read a few, the tweets, or the twits, they'll read a few of them, and they base everything off that.
Yeah,
that's why that's why it's called an echo chamber.
It totally
that's what
is.
It is.
It is. It totally is.
One guy says it, or I should say one person says it. I don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
So if one person says it, it's facts. It's factual.
It is. That's the world they live in. They don't. Its opinions are facts to them. You know, and I would say more but I can't because my brother hasn't watched the show yet. So I got to keep.
The only person on the planet Earth who hasn't.
No, there's a few.
8 other people.
You and like 7 other people. Yeah. Great show, but you gotta invest into it. Well, it's just like Lost. You gotta get into it.
I've watched Lost, I think 4 or 5 times.
It's the character development. It's you fall in love with the characters, good and bad, or depending on if you think they're good or bad. So, you know, I remember my sister, her favorite character on Game of Thrones was a bad guy. I'm like, how do you like that guy? So I read all the books. She's like, well, I think he's clever and I like him. I'm like, man, you see something I don't see. But the same thing with like Lost. It's like some people love like Benjamin Linus.
Well, that's my favorite character.
Right. And it's
we talked about that last week.
And it's like, that's what's cool about it. And Game of Thrones has that same kind of vibe. So check it out when you get a time. When you get a chance. All right, I think that's all I got for Game of Thrones talk.
Yep.
We're at an hour and 10 minutes, man. I'm gonna wrap her up.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Nerd Bros, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
We are out.
Later.
Toodaloo. Woke-tards.
Twitter twats. If you don't like it, don't subscribe. No, really, we're leaving this time.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. Bye-bye now. KK.